Our perfect run is over. 6 wins on the spin, stopped by Warnock's Middlesbrough. We can't be perfect all the time, but it's inevitable we make mistakes. It's still a point, and it's better than a loss, but it feels painful because we were leading, and it finished at the Riverside. Middlesbrough 1, Watford 1. It's another point to our tally, puts us up to 79, but it's not the result we would have wanted. It's not the result we were after. It's just another point on our travels. We've got 6 more finals to go, and we said that 90 points, maybe, is that enough for us to get second? Well, if so, it's 11 points to go, so it's about 3 wins or 4 wins out of our next 6 games. That needs to happen. And we need drop points elsewhere. Swansea, please lose versus Preston. Huddersfield beat Norwich. Birmingham beat Brentford. And got all those things that hopefully go away. But Sierralta, I thought, played quite well. Hughes played quite well, especially in the first half. Sarr obviously got the goal. Opportunist. But, it's just a frustrating one to not get the result. But it's one of those things, second half, we didn't look like we really came with the same swagger as the first half. First half, it was hard to break Middlesbrough down. We eventually got there and we got the goal from Sarr. We had most of possession, we had most of control defensively, but the second half, Middlesbrough had a bit more about them going forward, and our defence just causing our own problems, really, in the fact that we were giving away silly free kicks, and that was the case for the goal. Sema, didn't have a great game today and capped it off in a bad way by giving away a silly foul. And it's just, set pieces. That's what Middlesbrough thrive on. When they struggle to break us down, then the set pieces is kind of their get-out clause and their way round it. But it's a fantastic delivery from Paddy McNair. And the goal is scored by the substitute Yannick Bolasie. And, he's not known for his heading, but he got it right that time. Oh, it's a frustrating one, but it's another point. It is 2 points drop, but it's not a loss. So we've got to keep up the faith and don't get too disheartened, because there's still games that have much more of a role in our season in terms of getting promoted, with those big high stake games against teams around us. But it is a little bit worrying, our record around those teams that play in a similar position to us. It is not the best, but we've got to just crank it up a notch, maybe, against Reading, and then Brentford, Norwich, Swansea, Luton. Massive games, massive games, and Millwall as well to thrown in there. So yeah, it's massive that we just crank it up a little notch, but I don't know, it really does sting. And when you're winning as well, it just feels like, damn, it's really a chance missed. But I don't think we deserve to get 3 points today. It's as simple as that. Second half, we just didn't quite have the fluidity. But let's go through that game bit by bit, and we'll start off with that first half. It started in a pretty calm manner, both teams feeling each other out, and there was a chance for Zinchenko on 10 minutes where he had a shot. It was deflected over. Maybe it was heading in, but who would have known? 13 minutes in, a good ball in from Femenia, and Sema has a really good shot, but it's blocked and seen behind. And then the second chance for Watford, really good play, and it falls for Middlesbrough actually for a chance, and Naskins Cabano takes on the defenders and nutmegs past William Troost-Ekong. Messina's there though to get an important clearance in there, right place, right time. And Hughes does really well. Zinchenko has a chance, but again, just not quite the confidence to take the shot first time, and the touch lets him down. Then Chalobah, obviously there's that decision that the referee has to make, and it's the right decision to get the yellow card. He has to stretch for it, but he does just block the ball, doesn't take the man, and it's unfortunate for Morty because he gets injured by the way that he falls rather than the challenge. And really, the goal came with a really good piece of play from Watford. The shot was from Sema, powerful one. after some really nice control from Joao Pedro to bring it down. And Zinkernagel with the shot loops off Ismail Assar and gets us some points for the fantasy football, which is nice to see. But yeah, really good. He was in the right place at the right time, smelled out the chance, and just got that flick on to loop it over Marcus Bettinelli. And that was a big goal. Kind of eased the pressure after a difficult start when Middlesbrough put us under pressure, and they at least restricted our going forward avenues. But yeah, it's one of those ones that it's a big moment, and Sar's 10th of the season. He's having a great season. But then there was a chance just right at the end of that first half where, Borough get the ball in, and after a bit of Watford lost possession, they put the high cross to the far post, and Spence is there steaming in, but he slices the connection really, and one that Bachmann has to keep an eye on and stay steady, but he does well to grab it and keep it away from danger. So going to the half-time break, you're thinking, yeah, we've done enough so far. Not spectacular, not vintage from Watford, but enough to get the goal, and he kind of wanted to push on in the second half, drive at them a bit more and take them on, get to the byline a bit more. But we just didn't do enough of that in the second half. I don't know what it was. We just kind of started to lose control of the game, and it was a bit more nervy, especially towards the end of that second half. So to start off with, a very good piece of sportsmanship from Watford, very sportsmanlike, because there was a clash of heads from two Middlesbrough players, and Watford had a really good chance to break away. So we stopped the chance, and we stopped play to deal with that injury. But Duncan Watmore was actually causing us a few problems in that second half, and one of them, 50 minutes in, he has put the ball in the back of the net, but it was offside, and it was, luckily the right decision from the linesman. It was a header that really might have gone in. It probably would have gone wide, but ultimately it was a solid header from Middlesbrough, and a really good save from Daniel Bachmann. But it comes out to Duncan Watmore, and before Bachmann can make the save, he's put it in the back of the net. But it was one of those ones, it deflects off Watmore, and it's standing in an offside position, so it doesn't count. So that's a moment where we'll be thankful that the defence did well to get the line and bring up the line to make him offside. 53 minutes, Pedro lets fly, but again, he does well to shift the shot for himself and create the opportunity. But then the final shot is well over the crossbar. And a really good play from Ismail Assar. This is what we want to see more of in the second half, but we just didn't see it enough, where players are really going at the defenders and getting to the byline. Great work from Ismail Assar, keeps it in and gets a ball in. And it's Brazilian once again, Joao Pedro, who goes for the near post with his shot, but he just can't quite wrap his foot around it, can't quite steer it on target, and it is going out for a goal kick. We just didn't really see much of Ken Sema today. We didn't really use him to our best of potential, and we struggled to get it down the wide areas and really, take on their fullbacks. It was more a game where we were trying to hoof it up a little bit towards the end, and we just didn't really quite have the structures in place to really negotiate an opportunity. It was more hit and hope, and we were struggling to find the bit of quality, that bit of magic, the moment to get us back on and get the second half by the scruff of the neck and really get that second goal to kill it off, because we just needed that badly. Middlesbrough were, not too much threatening Bachmann, but still a threat on the break. But really, it just didn't quite work. And Ken Sema came off. Isaac Success came on, and Success didn't do a lot when he came on, it's got to be said. Both, the substitutes, Sema coming off and then Success coming on, Gosling came on, just struggled to get into the game, really. It was a game where we were trying to, get back in it after the Middlesbrough goal, especially go on and win it, but we just didn't really push on, and it was just a frustrating game, playing it around the back and trying to create chances, but there weren't the movement to make those chances. So fair play Middlesbrough, they did well to nullify the threat of Ken Sema and Ismail Assar at points in the game. We just weren't getting it down the wing that much, and Middlesbrough were lapping at that up. But really, they had good periods of pressure, Middlesbrough, and they were just growing back into the game. They deserved their goal, but in terms of sustained periods of pressure, Watford had a really good moment in the game around 64th, 65th minute, really putting Middlesbrough under the cosh and playing well, getting some crosses in. There was a moment in the game, Chalobah cutting a frustrated figure where he gets a cross, a ball given by Kiko Femenia, and he puts a really good ball in. But yeah, you'd argue it's a bit too high for the players to reach it, and there's nobody going in with that run at the near post and at the back post. There's no one moving to go towards it. It's more, it goes over and we kind of have to just watch it by as the rest of the Watford forwards are standing in a different position. So yeah, but it was good pressure from Watford. It's just a shame we couldn't get a goal from it. And then the header chance for one of our defenders, the header was missed. So yeah, just a period we couldn't really capitalise on, and it was just a game that didn't flow that easily. It was quite stop-starty, a bit like the Sheffield Wednesday match, but the difference here is we couldn't hold on for the 3 points. And yeah, I think we just need to score more than one goal, is the honest answer. We need to score more than one goal in these games. We got one goal against Sheffield Wednesday, just the one against Middlesbrough today, and we showed it, it's not always going to be enough. I don't know, we have the squad players and we have the chances sometimes to score, but don't quite have the conviction to actually put them away. And not a lot happened in that game, it's got to be said. It was a fairly uneventful game, I should say. The result, though, was all we wanted, and that was all we were praying for, to just get over the line, get on 81 points, and really put the pressure on Norwich going into their game against Huddersfield. But, it felt like it would be nice to get into second, but I don't know. It was kind of, we wanted to get the job done quickly. With these fixtures, the last few are really tough, and it would be nice to get second, but, I don't know. It started to get out of our control a little bit in the second half, and Middlesbrough had a bit more about them to shout about. So 72nd minutes in, and it's a really nice Watford move, something that we were missing in the game, which is that nice interplay and then the actual shot getting put away. But yeah, nice build up, nice team move. It would have been a wonderful Watford goal. But Sema just into space finds Joao Pedro, and you want him to put it away and get the second to really tighten our grip on the game. But it's just unfortunately the last missing piece of the puzzle can't quite fit for Watford, and what would have been a wonderful team goal is denied because Pedro misses the side foot finish just far of the post. So it's so close to being a goal, but we couldn't get the job done. And Middlesbrough score. Ken Sema, I said how he gave away that foul, not ideal at all. And Balassi with the header off the bench, a really good delivery from McNair, but we just didn't do enough to win the game in the second half, and we really have to blame ourselves for that. Didn't exert our authority enough, and Middlesbrough deserved their goal because they grew into the game. So, it was a game that was nervy, and it was a game that you felt if we conceded that late, there wouldn't be an opportunity to then hit them back, and that was the case. But it just wasn't quite in our control in that second half, and as I said, very stop-starty, lots of free kicks giving away, set pieces, and that's what they preyed on, Middlesbrough. The point was obviously better than none, but it's just not ideal. Our record against teams around us is not the brilliant thing to see. So I think that it was their way to really get it at us, the set pieces, and we were just struggling to create going forward. I don't know what happened in the second half, but ultimately, if we give away fouls constantly from a defensive point of view, even if we are putting in a very good defensive performance, there'll be a moment where Middlesbrough punish us, and needless from Ken Sema. He just is on the halfway line. He doesn't really control his challenge, and maybe he slips, but he just gets in a tangle, and he just needs to just not be in that position. I don't know how he gets out of it, but there's just a way he needs to control himself there, and it wasn't the right challenge to make. So Balassi scores. It stings. Obviously, I said how Balassi is not known for his headers, but it was a fairly decent one. He just outmuscled Sierralta and outmuscled William Troost-Ekong. So, yeah, I think it's probably a deserved result from both sides. Neither team completely amazing. Defensively, both of them quite hard to break down, and eventually they did that with their respective goals from Sarr and Balassi. But I don't know, it just feels like we were going to let it slip, and it felt like we might have lost that 2-1. So ultimately, we didn't do that. We weathered the storm a little bit there, but the confidence just shifted after that Middlesbrough goal, and we were just looking a bit too predictable. In our attempt to try and get a winner, we weren't looking like a team that was going to catch Middlesbrough out. It looked like we were just going to try things that were too predictable and too easy for Middlesbrough to deal with. So you thought, oh dear, Adam Messina, big injury that we were going to have to face, and a massive blow for us. But luckily, he recovered. It did hurt where it should hurt a lot in that lower region, but yeah, he was able to recover from that, which is good to see. And I think towards the end, there was just this like inevitability about it. There was this thing that both teams kind of settled for what they had, and that's disappointing to see. You know, we really need to go for this. We need to win games to put pressure on Swansea and Brentford, but also Middlesbrough wanted to go for it because of their hope for a late playoff push. But it was just one of those days that it didn't quite go the full distance, and it was scrappy. We couldn't have, you know, done a lot more in the second half in terms of possession, but with what we were having with those possession periods, we weren't making the most of it. And yeah, neither team really did enough. So yeah, there was a moment where Chalobah just kind of rushes the cross, and therefore Bettinelli has an easy one to pick up. You know, you got players in the box, just keep your time, hold the ball, and there's time ticking, so make the most of it. But we just don't have the collective ideas today. We didn't quite click as a unit, but some individual performances to shout about. You know, Sierralta, again, a lot of headers away that were impressive. Troost-Ekong at times looked really solid. Will Hughes, I thought, had quite a good game. And I suppose you could say that Sarr was pretty decent, running down that flank once again. Sema kind of the opposite of Sarr in the respect that he didn't quite make those runs down the byline. But it's hard to give man of the match today because it's a game that, you know, is a regrettable one. The points are shared, and it's definitely a bit disappointing to not hold on to that result. I think we just got to, you know, go for it. You could say that it's unexpected for us to even get a point at Middlesbrough because of how hard they are to play against and hard it is to go to Riverside. But, you know, we need to kind of make more goals that aren't, you know, lucky, maybe. I don't know if you can say that, but we do earn our luck to some extent. It's just that we're not quite scoring goals that are, you know, completely, like the goal against Sheffield Wednesday, it was a good goal from Ismaila Sarr's cross, but it's not a standard goal that you kind of can repeat every week. It just is disappointing. A point is better than none. So we take this, I think we go again against Reading. Just need to hope Swansea and Brentford fail to win, and second half we just didn't quite play as well. So I'm annoyed we lost the win, but you know, it's another game, it's another point. And I don't think we deserved to win that game. If we had won that, Middlesbrough probably would have felt quite aggrieved. It just feels much more sore because we were in front. And it was a day really for the defenders. The defenders were outscoring and outdoing, I should say, the attackers today. And Sky Sports gave man of the match to Grant Hall. I'm giving man of the match to Sierralta. Although he maybe should have done better for the goal, I thought generally he had a solid game. And it's hard to pick a winner of man of the match today because we were all quite frustrated by the fact we didn't hold on, and it was just that Sarr goal that was opportunist. But it's a 1-1 draw. Come on, you Horns, we play Reading in midweek.